often in Washington in the news media. Well, why would you want to help the families that have made mistakes? Why, wait a second, guys. This is about the entire neighborhood. This is about everybody's values. And we're all in this together. It's like saying, hey, I'm not going to go and put out that fire. I'm going to go in and check. If that person was smoking in bed, I'm not going to send the fire department, right? Wait a second. The whole neighborhood could burn down while you're waiting. We have got to make sure we're getting that message out and that we can do something about it. The success of NSP is a real example of what we can do right. Now, as NSP and Project Rebuild remind us, this crisis hasn't only impacted families, but neighborhoods, communities, and even whole regions have been touched, many of which were facing serious challenges well before anybody had heard the term predatory lending or the foreclosure crisis. New Jersey families know all too well what I am talking about. Despite being in close proximity to two of America's most dynamic urban economies, for years, families have faced brutal commutes, and too many communities have been cut off from the opportunity that's just next door. To help build strong, healthy, mixed-income communities where neighborhoods of concentrated poverty have stood for too long, with the help of Senator Menendez, we launched the Choice Neighborhoods program, which builds on the extraordinary bipartisan success of the Hope 6 public housing revitalization program, which has helped so many New Jersey communities. Hope 6 created 90,000 homes in healthy, mixed-income communities that were once troubled by distressed public housing, leveraging twice the federal investment in additional private development capital and raising the average income of residents by 75% or more. Now, the key thing about Choice Neighborhoods, we're taking this approach that's been available just for public housing, and we're expanding it to include all housing in a neighborhood, privately owned affordable housing, foreclosed homes, finally, nonprofits and others that have been engaged in community development for half a century now can finally access this resource, this tool, to do comprehensive neighborhood revitalization. And we're going beyond housing as well, particularly to school reform. In Jersey City's McGinley Square, Montgomery Corridor neighborhood, which is the first place to get a Choice Neighborhoods grant in New Jersey, you will see this approach in action. With these funds, local partners are working to create a transformation plan that will improve the Montgomery Gardens public housing development and increase its access to supportive services. But in addition, the grant builds on current plans for 2 new charter schools so that children can get the quality education they need right there in the neighborhood. And as part of a wider effort to transform the neighborhood's quality of life, the plan will support economic development as well, creating jobs and opportunity for residents. Jersey City represents just one powerful example of how this administration is helping government invest smarter and more effectively, so we do more of what works and stop doing what doesn't. But with Senator Menendez's leadership, we're not just bringing these innovative planning tools to neighborhoods, but to entire regions. And while every state can benefit from smarter planning, few have as much to gain as New Jersey. Nationally, American families now spend, on average, 52 cents of every dollar they earn just on housing and transportation combined. For New Jersey families, particularly in newer suburbs with less access to public transit, the costs are far higher. Reducing these costs isn't just about improving the quality of life of those families. Look, I'm a father with a 13-year-old, 10-year-old sons. I don't want to be spending my time between work and home. I want to be home with my family when I'm not working. I work a lot, but all of us want that. But it's not just that. At a time when moving products on our roads cost 5 times as much wasted fuel and time as it did 25 years ago, it's essential to generating the economic growth that we need to compete in the 21st century. To help communities and regions tackle those challenges, HUD forged the historic Partnership for Sustainable Communities with the Department of Transportation and the Environmental Protection Agency. Over the last 2 years, the partnerships awarded $270 million to support communities in working to ensure that all Americans can afford to live in communities with access to good schools, good jobs, and good transportation options. It's the biggest investment by the federal government in planning in 2 generations. From the very beginning, this effort has been informed by Senator Menendez's Livable Communities Act. And last fall, I was proud to join him in New Brunswick to announce a $5 million grant that would bring these innovative planning tools to northern and central New Jersey. With this grant, creative local leaders from the Blaustein School at Rutgers University to the State Office of Planning have the planning resources they need to ensure that smart growth strategies of 13 different counties are working together with precision to drive growth and create jobs in the region. And I want to particularly thank this network, all of you in the room, and your leader, John Carnegie, on this effort for your work to coordinate all of that work. As John and I just talked about, this is not easy work. Getting 13 counties to talk to each other, God bless you. You know, almost as hard as working with Congress, right? But it is such important work to try to align those strategies and get over the old city, suburban, not in my backyard tensions that we've had for too long, stopping the work that we're doing. By connecting public transportation with population and job centers, this coalition will bring down commuting costs for families and ensure they have families in distressed cities, in particular like Newark and Patterson, have access to jobs and economic opportunity. Not only that, but by targeting workforce and economic development initiatives to places like Bayonne, Elizabeth, and the Jersey City waterfront, the grant makes sure that families and businesses of North Jersey can take advantage of this region's proximity to New York City and the 2nd largest seaport in the nation. And with this investment building on our $2.2 million award to Jersey City 2 years ago to create more affordable housing and transportation options, local leaders will finally have the tools that they need to unlock the economic potential of this region once and for all. Unfortunately, despite the extraordinary demand for our sustainability grants and the bipartisan support for these tools that we've seen at the local level across the country, Congress refused to fund this grant program last year. And that's why we need to fight. We need you to make your voices heard on this issue at a time when the federal budget environment has forced us to basically flat fund our block grant programs. We need to let leaders in Washington know that catalytic, job-creating investments like sustainable communities that get private capital off the sidelines and into our communities and our economy in the right way are too important to your economic future. We need to let them know that small investments can yield big results for our economy, and that this debate isn't about that stale old argument of big government versus small government. It should be about government that's smart. For me, for you, for all of us, each of these efforts comes down to a very simple belief. That when you choose a home, you don't just choose a home. You choose where your kids go to school. You choose what jobs you have access to through transportation. You choose public safety and other public services. In short, you choose a community and the choices available in that community. And by pushing back against foreclosures and giving the families the opportunity to rebuild what they've lost, by planning our neighborhoods and communities for the future, and by stretching every community development dollar as far as it can go, these efforts are about creating an economy that isn't built on a house of cards, on phantom profits, or on shady mortgage practices, but rather an economy that is built to last. That is why lifting up our families matters. That is why lifting up and investing in our communities matters. That is why the work every one of you does every day is so important. And it's why I came here today and why I'm proud to call each of you a partner. Thank you for all you do for New Jersey families and neighborhoods. Thank you for everything that you're going to do in the years ahead.